everyone, I'm Stephanie Morin. Happy Dr. Seuss's birthday to everyone. It is Reading Across America Day also, and it's also Banana Cream Pie Day, but you probably don't need to know that. For the baseball season, it looks like I'm going to be a weekend at work and a week off of work, so I should be fine in getting all of these bedtime stories read to you in a timely, efficient manner, but weather is a big factor in the baseball season, so I will have to keep you posted on whether or not I have a game. In the meantime, to celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday, I have here 6 by Seuss by Dr. Seuss. This book is very, very special to me. It is probably the book where I learned how to read. I used to read one story in particular from this collection, and it is called Horton Hatches the Egg. And I am very, very excited to read this story to you. And as you know, you probably saw Horton Hears a Who. Either you've read the book or saw the movie with the Jim Carrey as Horton. But you will know a saying that he has for every single thing that he sets out to do. He says, "I said what I meant, and I meant what I said. An elephant's faithful, 100%. You will be hearing this message throughout the entirety of the book from Horton. So, without further ado, let's get started. Horton Hatches the Egg by Dr. Seuss. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired, and I'm bored, and I've kinks in my leg. From sitting, just sitting here, day after day. Oh, it's work. How I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation. Fly off for a rest. If I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free." So, this is Maisie, the lazy bird. What color is her egg? Do you know? Yeah, it's red. It's got white spots on it. Who do you think she's gonna keep in charge of the egg? Let's find out. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. "Hello," called the lazy bird, smiling her best. "You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest?" The elephant laughed. "Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense." "Tut, tut," answered Maisie. "I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind." "I can't," said the elephant. "Please," begged the bird. "I won't be gone long, sir. I'll give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed." It's Horton. That's the elephant right there. You think he's going to be careful? He is a big elephant. "Very well," said the elephant. Since you insist. You want a fluffy vacation? Go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg, and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say." "Toodaloo!" sang out Maisie, and fluttered away. Okay, so now Maisie's gone. You guys think he's going to be faithful to her? You think he's going to sit on the egg? Is he going to be careful? I mean, like I said, he is a really big elephant. I don't know what's going to happen. first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done. Before I get on it, I must weigh a ton. See what Horton's doing? He's trying to make it so he can get up there. Let's see if it pays off. Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up to the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. He's almost there. You think he's gonna break it? Let's hope he doesn't break it. And Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. There he is. I think he's gonna do a great job. Don't you think so? And he sat all day, and he kept the egg warm. And he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured and it lightened, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish she'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. Getting on the tree was easy. Now he's just got to keep it warm. It's a really terrible storm. You think he's going to stay on there? But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach, and having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. Ooh, she truly is a lazy bird. She's on the top of this tree here. Do you think Maisie is being selfish of her egg? She's letting someone else do all the hard work while she just lounges around. So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away, and then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg, and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. Ooh, see? Now it's going to be even harder keeping it warm through winter. Poor Horton. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime, with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Look! Horton the elephant's up in a tree! They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird! Aw, poor Horton. They don't really know that Maisie asked him for a favor. They don't really know. Poor Horton. They laughed and they laughed, then they all ran away, and Horton was lonely. He wanted to play. But he sat on the egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. They're all going away, huh? Not one of them's giving him support? Come on. No matter what happens, that egg must be tended. Poor Horton's troubles were far from ended. For while Horton sat there, so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Oh! Do you think they're gonna hurt Horton? He's gonna have to give up the egg now so he won't get hurt, right? Is he gonna stay there? He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right straight at his heart. Ooh. I think they're gonna hurt him. They're gonna kill him. You think so? Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high, and he threw out his chest. And he looked at the hunters, as much as to say, "Shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. It looks like he's being brave. Horton's very brave to take on this task alone with some hunters. What do you think they're going to do with him? He's sitting on that egg still. But the men didn't shoot, much to Horton's surprise. They dropped their 3 guns, and they stared with wide eyes. "Look!" they all shouted. "Can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree! It's strange! It's amazing! It's wonderful! New! Don't shoot him! We'll catch him! That's just what we'll do! Let's take him alive! Well, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home, to a circus, for money." Oh, this is a fate worse than death. No elephant wants to be in a circus, especially one that's sitting on an egg. And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. "We're off!" the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy 100%. Aww, poor Horton. This jungle's his home. Do you think Horton's gonna be homesick? I know I'd get homesick if I was away for a long time. Up out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains 10,000 feet high, and down the mountains, and down to the sea, went the cart with the elephant, egg nest, and tree. See? They're up on top of the mountain. And Horton's staying on that nest. He's very faithful, guys. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship, out over the ocean, and oh, what a trip! Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray. And Horton said, day after day after day, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. But oh, am I seasick? 100%. Oh, poor Horton. He's on that boat, and he's still on that egg, even though he feels like he's gonna throw up. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. "All ashore!" the men shouted, and down with a lurch, when Horton the elephant, still on his perch, tied onto a board that could just scarcely hold him. Bump! Horton landed, and then the men sold him. What do you think the circus is going to do to him? Poor Horton. Like I said, no elephant wants to be in a circus. No elephant wants to be used for entertainment. Sold to a circus! Then week after week, They showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington, too, to Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota, and everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat in that hot, noisy tent, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. See Horton in there? Does he look happy in there? I can imagine he isn't. He is not happy. I guess he misses his home. Then, one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach. And, dawdling along, way up high in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy. And spying the flags and the tents just below, she sang out, "What fun! Why, I'll go to the show." See, that's Maisie. That's Maisie up there. What's she gonna do when she finds out Horton's still on that nest? Is she gonna ask him what's he doing here, or is she gonna be concerned? Let's see. And she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. "Good gracious!" gasped Maisie. "I've seen you before!" Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk... Oh, looks like she found Horton. Do you think Maisie's going to ask if the egg is okay or if Horton's okay? I wouldn't put it past her. There rang out the noisiest ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a wild alive scratching. "My egg!" shouted Horton. "My egg! Why, it's hatching!" Ooh, looks like the egg's gonna hatch. What do you think is gonna be in there? Will it be a bird like Maisie? Let's see. "But it's mine!" screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. Her work was all done. Now she wanted it back. "It's my egg," she sputtered. "You stole it from me! Get off my nest and get out of my tree!" Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. Aww. Poor Maisie. Poor Horton. Maisie's being so mean. I don't think she's concerned. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out from the pieces of red and white shell, from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears, and a tail, and a trunk, just like his. Wow! Look at this! It's very amazing, isn't it? It sat on that thing for weeks and it turned out to be just like him. It's still got the wings, though. And the people came shouting, "What's all this about?" They looked, and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered, and they cheered, and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. "My goodness! My gracious!" they shouted. "My word! It's something brand new! It's an elephant bird! And it should be like that, because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant." Look at Maisie. Aw, look at the elephant bird. So cute. And they sent him home, happy, 100%. And look at this. He's back home. That was a beautiful story by the one the only Dr. Seuss. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you could, please like and subscribe to my channel to get updates on updates for my bedtime stories. And if you could leave any comments or anything that would help me read you these stories better, I would very much appreciate it. Until next time, see you next week.